Thanks for staying with us. So, Stephen Akintayo is an inspirational speaker, a serial entrepreneur, and is currently the Chief Executive Officer of Stephen Akintayo Consulting International and GTEX Media. He'll be speaking in-depthly on ways the country can use economic empowerment to tackle insecurity in our dear country. You can join the conversation on 081-270-53687. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your TVC so we can read your tweets. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You see, there's so many things we want to discuss with you today. Obviously, the obvious is this space of insecurity in our land and the fact that many companies and businesses, small businesses, are finding it difficult to scale or to increase or to even engage because of the issues we're having.
Absolutely.
In your view, how can we even, in spite of the insecurity, still build a business in our country?
Wow, that's a serious question, but it's a good one. I think the first is hope. You know, yes, the biggest challenge of Nigeria is not even insecurity, it's hope. We've lost hope in this country. I had a video where I was dancing in the car and I uploaded it on my Facebook. You need to see comment like, what are you happy about? You know, people are dying. This is good. We need to, first of all, give hope. And that needs to come from the top, you know, where, yes, things are tough. Tough times don't last, tough people do. But there's hope. Things can get better, and they will get better. So I think that's the first thing, because if you don't believe there's hope, you ain't going to invest your money. You will not sacrifice more. Right. You will not figure out a way to still grow your business despite the insecurities, despite the challenges. You just lose hope. If you look at at least 40%, no, 70% of people live in Nigeria are the elite. Canada, US, they are the elite, you know, who have small businesses, who have something they can afford to travel out. So if the hope comes back, then we can figure out how to solve the problems.
Who is responsible for giving this hope back, this hope that we've lost?
All of us, actually.
How do we do it?
We all need to. I mean, your show, for example, is one of the amazing shows. You guys are adding value. And I think you should clap for yourself. You guys have really, I mean, at least I know that from my wife, a lot of other people who say they can't wait to watch your show every day. And it educates them, empower them. So all of us have to play our role. Because an average person has at least 250 people in their network, right? So you need to begin to say, yes, we've been through tougher times. You know, we can overcome, but it's all of us.
So you have adults who may say, well, things can get better. So you have a young adult, a young child just growing in this scenario right now. They've grown into maturity, just seeing everything the way it is. For them, where do they get their hope from? Where do they get the fact that, where do they get the idea that it can be better or it was ever better? Apart from just leaving, because many young people, that's what you hear. We need to leave, we need to leave, because that's the only place there's hope.
I think they should do something I did, because in this Lagos, I had trekked from Sangota to Keja long and back. In this Lagos, I didn't have 200 naira to take Molue home. And I was MDCU right away. So I had to sleep.
At the time?
Yeah, I had to sleep in my office. The next morning, my body was swollen. Mosquito had designed my body in this same Lagos. So what I think people need to do is, and in this same Lagos, by the way, I'm building cities. So what we need is start reading biographies of people. That's what I did. So when I started studying, even John D. Rockefeller is the first American billionaire. When I started reading a story of how, at some point, everything was about to crumble. In fact, because his wife was his accountant, she had been keeping some money, you know, on the side. At the deadline, like, she showed up with that money. And the man eventually became the richest, the first billionaire, was richer than America. So reading stories like that, understanding that people have had to emerge. The darker the environment, the brighter your light. That the fact that there is a dark environment in Nigeria, then I need to shine more and have an opportunity to shine. And there's hope. So,
go ahead, okay.
So I there's a video that I stumbled on Sunday, and it became a conversation point for myself and my husband. And I know the video it showed forwarded several times on WhatsApp. And it's a video of somebody saying, oh, the churches are not doing anything, the mosques are not doing anything, and that the churches are just collecting money. And I had to tell my husband, we need to stop these videos from spreading, because the churches had the highest vehicle of building hope in people.
Absolutely.
The people, some of them have been abused, but the religious system helps us to feel that God would help us.
Show up for us,
And we mustn't demonize the church to the point where people would not feel like, I'm not even going to go there anymore. But I'm happy you mentioned books. It's just that we don't have enough, we feel like there are not enough books that we can read that are realistic and are usable in the context of what is happening here. So, do you have favorite books you would want to share with us, like top 3 books, top 5 books, let's say 5, that you feel any young person now can read and it will just reset their mind and they can now go on that trajectory?
Wow, powerful. I like that. So, I absolutely agree with you. Without the mosques, the churches, Nigeria would be in pieces. We'll probably be 10 years in civil war now. So the mosques, the churches have played their role. Pastors have played. What we sometimes don't realize, we are 200 million. We don't understand. I mean, we had a conference. I mean, people didn't even have where to sit. But that's a drop, like a tiny drop in the population of those who are in Lagos alone. So the challenge is huge, and we need to begin to think of scale. As regards book, one of the books I years back, I think at the age of 18 or so, was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So my mother was a civil servant. My father's business had crumbled before I was born. And I was born in Maiduguri, and I mean, I learned how to spell the word TH in JSS1. So sometimes when I write on social media, people are saying spelling error. I say, you better thank God for my life. You don't
know where I'm coming from.
You don't know where I'm coming from, you know. So, but that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, opened my eye that I don't need a degree to be wealthy. Yes, and that was even the first miracle. And I don't need to have come from a rich home. I started seeing a whole lot of light, and I also realized there's nothing wrong with being rich, right? Because one of the biggest...
You're not evil.
One of the biggest lie out there is that, wealth is bad, and wealthy people are bad people.
Oh, yes.
Let me say this again. 2 poor people cannot help themselves. One must first climb to the top before he can throw the rope to help anybody else. If your neighbor that you love so much is sick, like in my own case, my mother died of ovarian cancer. It's going to be 11 years tomorrow or so. Now, I saw my mother die. I didn't have money to help her. 2 poor people cannot help themselves. Okay? So we have to wake up and change that narrative where you are, there's something to be joyous about poverty, nothing to rejoice. There's nothing to like about poverty.
Dr. Akintayo, you're saying it casually, but some of us were programmed to think that being too wealthy is just for those people who are thieves, who have robbed the country, who are that you as a modest citizen, moderation is just fine. And you're saying that's not the right thinking.
Because you can't help anybody being poor. I just spent 100 million training people. I couldn't do that as a poor man. You can't, even if you want to. I don't care how good your heart is. You are broke, you are poor, you can't. You will be living a survival life. Your goal is me, my family, my family. And the beginning, I love what she said, books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. Tough Time, Don't Last, Tough People Do, Robert Schuller. Powerful book. And of course, my own book. Billionaire Habits. This is your copy. I think TMO has, you have your own copy. So I brought for you guys too.
Thank you.
So sorry, I wanted to go to what Governor Obasa said, because you used the word hope. And interestingly, the governor of Edo State, let me just go to what he said. He said that mismanagement of the economy is the reason for the level of insecurity the country is facing, which I'd like you to address. However, he urged Nigerians not to lose hope in the country, but to work collectively to ensure a better. This was just yesterday. So hope, obviously, is the word of the season, and we have to do it collectively. And I thought it was important to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I want to take you back to, first of all, I'm happy with what you said about being rich, because I realized that you cannot, you attract what you celebrate.
True.
Yes.
And, you know, growing up, I saw a lot of people have the mindset that once you are rich, it has to be evil. You can be rich legitimately.
Absolutely.
And because I always pick my words from the Old Testament, where God worked with certain people and they were exceedingly rich. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, you name them. You know, so I have always known that I want to be in that category where I can work with God and be exceedingly wealthy so that I can help other people. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
But going back to the book that, you know, I wanted to say that I realized that it's not that there's a deficit in books. It's just that the people do not have a mindset of reading. We don't have a reading culture, so to speak. Now, how do we start changing the mindset of young people who already just want to get rich quick and they don't want to go through the process? How can we get them to understand that they need to read to evolve?
Wow, powerful. Well, I think we leaders have to begin to write the books, first of all. You know, we have a culture where, you know, the richest man in our part of the world, no book written, right? Some major generals who have been through civil war have not even written a book as to why we must not allow another civil war to come out. You have a generation that has not seen war. That's why you're seeing people say, let's divide, let's break, let's break. Okay, may you not see. If you have seen war, you know that. So we're not writing books, first of all. If we understand that, I mean, developed world in America, once you arrive like this, the first thing is to write a book on how you arrive.
On your journey.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first thing. You'll be trusting God for a baby for years. You write a book when you finally have the baby. You know, you've been trying to become a successful media person. Now you are Morayo. You write a book. You know, so but we need to, first thing is to start that journey of saying, writing a book is something good. You know, I remember my first time in the U.S., and, you know, they sent me to secondary interview. I didn't even understand what that meant. They just, gentlemen, just follow me. So I called my visa consultant, and he said, where did they put your passport? I said, yellow bag. He said, if they put red, you just land in Nigeria. He said in a dramatic way. So I really panicked. So I stood up. I didn't even know I was supposed to wait till they call me. So I said, excuse me, sir, what's going on here? I've been to other countries, they don't delay me like this. He looked at me and said, don't I have the right? I said, maybe you do, but
I don't know.
I have been to other countries. They don't delay me like this. He said, what? Because you Nigerians, you say half truth and half lie. My brain literally was like, banga. Wow. I said, look at me very well. I'm not an ordinary Nigerian. Right? I'm not an average Nigerian.
That's so sad. To your face,
right? Yeah. You know, I'm not enough. You say, I said, Google my name. So we will see social media. I said, I'm not talking of social media. I'm talking of books, media interview. As soon as he heard books, it was as if I mentioned something. He said, you've written books? At that point, I pocketed mine. I said, yeah, it's on your Amazon. And of course, they have internet. So they have internet. Fast, pap. So you wrote survivalist. I say, yeah, mobile. So obviously, you are one of the most important persons from Nigeria.
Imagine.
On behalf of the United States of America, welcome to Atlanta, Georgia.
Imagine that.
Beautiful story.
And that was the last time I had that kind of experience. In Nigeria, I tell your immigration that you've written a book.
You're not concerned.
You don't look at it like...
And so what?
And so?
How that all concerned?
So where do we, so now you have broken. So where do we start?
Let's start writing
no, I'm not saying
writing books and talking about books and educating people about books, because we have to make it mainstream. If it's not mainstream, right? If your actors are not writing books, actresses are not writing books, footballers are not writing books, media personalities are not. So why should I?
Morayo, they're talking to you.
People like Okoya, the Razak Okoya. This man that built a eleganza.
Yeah, that's in the area of finance and wealth, right? That's why I have written mine, right? But also in other sectors. Because the other people want to aspire to be media personality, actors, actresses. Tell them how. How did you get there?
That's going to break. We still have it for another 30 minutes. Don't worry.
Calm down.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I like that story.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Right. I thought it was Mariam. Welcome back. Yes, Mariam, go ahead, please.
So, you know, we're talking, you just said that in Nigeria, when you say you've written a book, it means nothing.
Yeah,
and for
absolutely.
me, it's like, where do we start? I just wanted to also make a joke that many of us, we find musicians relatable. So do we start by singing about what we do? And, you know, because it means it's like the musicians, the entertainers tend to capture our minds better than if we are writing books. So do we start that way? Because I can catch a child young, I can catch them young, but I don't know how to catch them old. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have different experiences, they are ignorant because of their circumstances. So these are not people that just choose not to. But where do I start with someone like that?
Well, you've answered the question yourself, right? Role models need to begin to push forward. I mean, let's see our artists reading book to their 2-year-old, 3-year-old. I mean, there was an actress with her husband where the son, I don't know whether you saw it, was going towards the father more than the mother.
Oh, that challenge is
Can we start seeing those kind of experience where they are reading books in the night to the child? Right, that's how, you know, we gradually begin to... Yeah, so we should leverage on our celebrities. Even this insecurity we're talking about. If you can get me celebrities, right, from the north, to literally start doing videos and, you know, conversation and doing media interviews and say, enough is enough. We need our country back. I promise you, this whole thing will calm down. Because, I mean, if you have ever... hear stories of people who have encountered real either robbers or kidnappers. When they see celebrity, they respect those people. Right? And I've said this when people say, oh, the problem of Nigeria is that our leaders don't have brains. You don't need to have brain to be a leader. You just need to manage brains. It's not your job to have brain. Your job do this. This person can help. If I'm the president of this country today and I want to solve insecurity, I'm going to get 10,000 entrepreneurs together, virtually. I say, can you help me employ 10 people more? What do I need to do to make you add 10 people to your payroll? What do I need to do? Just 10 people.
Instead of the government employing people, instead of government doing 744, all the local government, you are spending the money you don't have to pay salary for what
you are
not done.
opening the door for corruption. That's what Lee Kuan Yew did. When Lee Kuan Yew became president, he got all the best CEOs and say, the brain you are using to grow your business, come and use it to grow
this
Singapore. Wow. And you know what Singapore has done to? You don't need to be a genius to lead Nigeria. Just gather the brains. They are there.
Okay, so let me ask this question. We have, you know, I lamented on the show a few weeks back that why is it that politicians give away keke na pep? You know, we've seen the one that was like very annoying for me. I expressed my irritation when a politician gave away noodles and wheelbarrow. I'm like, is it that you don't value the human being? Will you give your child wheelbarrow and noodles as a career option? So we know that the battle we are facing is an economic crisis. How do we empower people? What is this youth empowerment scheme? Because every House of Assembly member has a youth empowerment scheme. Every House of Representative member have, every senator, every president, every first lady. But what have we empowered?
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. First of all, let me say, wheelbarrow is not an empowerment. Keke na pep is not an empowerment. Giving people food is not an empowerment. In fact, according to Oxford, empowerment is self-determination. So,
self-determination.
Self-determination.
Meaning no one can do it for you.
It's ability to help people to self-determine
themselves,
how powerful they become, how financially strong they are. So if you give me food, I still need more. By the way, I'm not saying that's wrong. I do that once in a while. Right? But that is not the real way to empower. That is to solve the problem in the immediate. Right? You're hungry, let me give you something to eat. But if you really are serious about empowerment, you are saying to yourself, what can I do for this person that he won't need me again?
Let me stay on that for a minute. So, as Tokwe said, you have a room full of, let's just say, 1,000 youth. You're a minister or you are a whatever local government chairman. You call them out together. You want to empower them. You talk. But that talk, they'll say, okay, after talking, where's the money? How will I start my business? But we saw even Jonathan's period. Jonathan gave them some money. I think I can't remember the name of that. I can't remember what it was. Where they gave them 10,000. They gave them money.
You win.
You win. Those young people collected the money and spent it, and then they're back to square one. So,
with the money.
what kind of measure can we put in place to ensure that when we give these empowerment speeches and empower these young people, they actually use it for what's supposed to be?
I don't think the issue is actually using it. I've had that experience. My first office, in Ikeja, I remember I announced, I don't blow. It was not far from Computer Village because I felt I had over 2 million. This was about 10 years ago. So I felt, I don't blow. So I remember my first training, we used to do seminar then. So I went on radio station. Guess what? I spent over 200,000 on a training and half person showed up. And I said half.
What do you mean?
When the one person showed up, I saw that he's the only one. He paid half. No, he paid half of the fee. In 1 month, I have finished 1-point-something million. By the end of the year, I couldn't renew my rent. I lost everything. So it's not that many of them actually, squandered the money. They lack apprenticeship. That was when I started our business fresh. So I had to start afresh this time around with mentors, with guidance, with somebody to pull you to say, don't do it that way, do it this way. And that's why it's missing. That's why you're seeing me say, again, gather successful business owners and attach and say, okay, for those who want to start their business, promise me 2 people attached to you.
Okay.
Right? Government will then pay whatever grants. But they must be attached to a mentor that is guiding, that is helping, that is showing the way, that is saying. That's why I said this whole solving insecurity, giving hope, we all have to do it. We just need to stop this greedy nature of me, myself, as long as I'm okay, no big deal. And I'm calling out CEOs and business owners. We are part of this problem. Right? I had to dedicate over an hour out of my business. I know it's a loss for me because as a business owner, time is what you're using. But it's time to come out. And I'm promising you on this show, give me 10 people, I'll mentor them for free. By the way, I charge $20,000, but for free, I'll mentor 10 people.
Let me take this call and come to BC.
CVC I'm not kidding you. 10 people, business owners, they want to succeed in business. 1 year on me. 1 year at a time. Let's put our money where our mouth is.
Fantastic. Let me take this call, Chef, and I'll come to BC. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I just want to say something about reading books and being successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think also there is a very, very important and interesting book which is called The Richest Man in Babylon.
Correct.
That book is a must for every entrepreneur that wants to succeed.
Thank you very much, sir. Jeff.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, BC, go ahead, please.
I would also add The Science of Getting Rich.
Yes.
Yes. Wallace Wattles. And that's a very powerful
The greatest salesman that ever lived.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Ogmandino.
Awesome.
We are
reading books and we're feeling ourselves.
But you see what we're doing? We're turning reading books to mainstream.
Fun.
Mainstream.
It's good. So
BC.
I actually have a book club where we read books, and I was asking them how their lives have changed ever since, and they sent me their testimonies, and I was really impressed. Young people, 17, 18, have already started their businesses, and I was really glad. But I wanted to ask you, so we're in a society that rewards flashiness, a society that rewards wealth without asking the right questions. Where did this come from? And, young people actually look at us, we model, and they want to copy what they see.
Absolutely.
So it's different. It's a whole different ball game when you say something and you do something else. So you preach, read books, do this, do that, and then they see that you don't reward people who read books. You don't reward people who do the work. You know, everybody says the grace of God, the grace of God. Nobody tells us how that grace has worked, how that grace has helped us to pick the activities and follow through. Now, what do you think we should do as a society to ensure that we begin to reward hard work?
Okay.
Beautiful. I mean, one of the things I love about whatever I do is I back it up with something. So one of the things I did for this book is that I have a $5,000 grant on it for 3 people, right? To say even if you can't afford it, if you go online, because there's a video version, you watch it, do a 1-minute summary, what you know, how the book impacted your life, and you stand a chance of winning that.
Wow.
So it's part of it. We do giveaway,
Yeah.
but giveaway on nothing. Right? Let's start doing giveaway on reading books. Giveaway on attending seminars. Giveaway on real substance. So these are what you know, we need to start doing. I want to engage again the celebrities to join us in this journey.
Very important.
We need to engage them. All this, you know, we need to, enough of it.
Social media influencers.
Going online, then spraying money on the streets. You know, you are not empowering anybody. You House of Rep member, there was one I saw, stacking money and then giving, sharing. That you're not teaching people about the dignity of labor.
Work.
The dignity of labor. And there's dignity in labor. There's dignity in labor.
Yeah, can we talk about that?
I want to stay a bit on that.
Dignity of labor.
Yeah.
Because we have the dignity of the end result. That's what we believe. Yes, that's what we believe in.
Yeah.
And so we feel that anyone that has to do a certain type of job, your job defines you and defines how you're treated or respected. But if you're singing, if you're dancing, if you're, you know, if you're in the flashy world, as BC had mentioned earlier, you're respected because the money you make has to align with how you make it.
Yeah.
So if, as a young person now, I'm listening to you, and what I can put my hands to is to do bricklaying work.
Yep,
you know,
Cleaner.
yes, but you have friends that are telling you, leave that in when you can do something quick. What would you say to that person?
Well, I'll tell the person that I used to sell popcorn in this same, you know, I used to hawk.
I love your story, and I think you should go to read this book.
You know, I used to hawk electronics in Ijebu-Ode.
Wow.
You know, and I was a student. You know, during all this ASU strike, just move. You know, I start buy electronics. I remember my fiancé there used to call me Oga manager because they promised if I'm able to sell to a level, they'll make me manager. So she used to like Oga manager. But I'm here today, right? So the truth is that, number one, life is in phases, men are in sizes, live your size part time. Number two, cut your clothes according to your material, not your size. Because sometimes your size is bigger than your material. Right, so exactly. So cut it according to your material. If your level today is selling popcorn, like in my story, sell it with dignity. Be the best popcorn seller we've ever seen. And I sold popcorn Redeem Camp, the Lagos experience.
Wow.
I saw, one of the ones that I did, it was the one that rained. You know, I had gotten some loan. It was going to be mega. I got 4 popcorn machines. It didn't rain.
It didn't rain. Oh, my God.
Lord.
And you couldn't sell.
And, you know, I couldn't sell it. I mean, it was funny. But thank God for mentor, too. All my mentor told me, arrange with Coca-Cola that you return. No, they didn't pay for this. Right? But that you return the drinks. Right? So I made sure
the
that
loss was
minimal.
Yeah.
Again, role of mentors.
Mentor.
You know, but there's dignity.
Let me take this call from Victor. Victor, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Morana.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my first caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm a good ardent listener of your views.
Oh.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
I enjoyed the program.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you guys are really doing great.
Thank you.
The first time I want to say something about the girl, the lady that was dehumanized.
Oh, yes. Please go ahead. Your view, let it count.
It is very, very bad. I couldn't watch that video. In fact, I couldn't. You see, that is the problem we have as a nation, as a Nigerian. You can't give what you don't have. That is started from home to our leaders. You can't give what you don't have. Most parents lack what is called father or mothership. They don't have what they want to give to their children.
All right, thank you very much, Victor. You see, I was in class when Eddie Lawani was invited. He was an event planner. He's a big name in event planning in Lagos State, in Nigeria, actually. And he was telling us that as a CEO, I'm trying to match it with what you said about mentoring and employing young people. So in his own system, he realized as a company, he was having those who are doing the events, the branding, and all the various technical guys. And what he did was that when somebody comes to him and said, okay, sir, I want to resign, he empowers the person to start their own company. So when he gets the jobs, he brings them as a resource. So you leave, and you're now a company he contracts. Then he brings somebody else again to replace you, but you're still the resource that person uses. Eventually, that person still grows. And now to leaves another means two resources. Now, when he gets the more jobs he gets, he splits his resources. Okay, Mariam is one technical provider, TechWays and that, And he was expanding that way, and I thought that was so interesting because you're saying that if as a young person, it's not enough for you to just go to one conference and hear the speeches. Understand what you want to do. Attach yourself to somebody. And that person also, the mentor also must take responsibility to grow you as a person.
And you also have to take responsibility because the reality is that nobody will mentor you for free. I don't care how nice they are and how wealthy they are. There must be something in it for the mentor. You are either paying or you're serving. I remember somebody I learned this from. He said he was a media guy, and what he did for his billionaire mentor was to say, every of your media, whatever, I will handle your press conference, I handle it, don't pay me nothing. And in exchange, the man had offered to mentor him, but he said, no, I can't have you mentor me without something exchange. I know I may not be able to pay you, and you don't even have a paid program, but I will offer you anything media on me. So we should begin to also teach this so that young people don't feel that somebody owes them mentorship. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. Yes.
You know the reality of what you just said? Everybody here knew that a few weeks ago I had an intern. Why the intern stopped? She wanted to be paid. And I said, you are a student. You don't know Jack. You don't know Jack. Train you. Yes, I'm literally training you. I'm sharing books. I'm sharing. I'm telling you what to do, how to do it, You're learning. You did 2 weeks. You're learning. I'm forcing you to read newspapers. You read papers. You're writing a story. And then you're asking to be paid. I said, no. Let me see the worth of what you can bring in value. You won't ask. I would value you enough to pay. And the role of service hasn't been... We have not drilled, we haven't drilled down the importance of service. And I know you have served. And I know you have people that are serving you. And I'd like you to share the examples of where you have traded in kind, your work, to get doors open for you. Yes.
I think, in fact, one of the speakers at the conference that we just organized, was one of such people. He was a lawyer, and he was shuttling between Nigeria and the U.S. At some point, the burden of paying rent, so he shut down his office. I told him, bring your office to my office. Right, yeah. So I created an office space. His staff were resuming in my place, and of course, in exchange, he was mentoring me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know the person that's how the relationship started.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's not how it started, but those are part of
things you used
to. I kept doing. So for me we must understand that no rich person wants a parasitic relationship in their lives. Nobody. Because they got here by not having those parasitic. And the challenge Nigeria has is that, unfortunately, there's a two world in Nigeria. There's the political world, there's the business world, and they don't mix. The political world says, you can get anything by being lucky, by coming from a particular tribe where the leader is from. The business world says you must merit whatever you want to get. There must be some value in exchange for anything that you want. And that's the problem. A lot of time I move to our site and you see people, baba, because of the car. I tell them, I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman. I work, hard for every penny. And I know the healer that Owo call. You know,
I know the healer that
I know the tribal mark that money has.
Oh, okay.
You guys are not Yoruba.
No,
I got it.
So, you know, still building on this, I realized that we... Yes, so just to follow up, I realized that a lot of young people are not interested in volunteer work.
Yes.
They want to just start off, like, you know, your PA now, just start paying and everything.
Yeah.
How do we get them to understand that it's very important to volunteer? So I want to link it to, you know, Harvard now is beginning to understudy the Igbo apprenticeship program.
Yes.
How do we explain to people that you need to show that you have value before the money will come?
But add that to people who get taken advantage of.
Good.
So connect it.
Let's start
some
somewhere.
interns get taken advantage of for a period and they don't get paid.
It starts with the parents. You know, the parents are the biggest problem we're having in Nigeria. And I'm not kidding. It's a set of generation that were entitled. People like Paulo were really struggled by Azikwe. You know, what's his name? The man from the north. Ahmadu Bello. These guys fought the British to get independence. What they didn't know was that they had a generation that was coming that just felt they could get everything for free.
And they were getting the cars.
They were getting the car, you get job. So that generation met electricity but knock out light for their own children. Met water, no water. And they kept blaming, thinking it's the British, it's the British. The British is gone long ago. It was their job to figure out how to have solved Nigeria problem. And I've been saying to my own generation that you don't want to give the same excuse our parents gave. And so you see a parent, the son say, I saw Mr. Stephen, I decided to be an intern with him. He say, how much is he paying you?
Yes.
First question.
Yes.
And he say, oh, it's an internship. Say, I sent you to private university and spent millions. No, get out. You can't work there again. That's what I've seen. I had a lady that used to work with me. For 6 months, she was an intern. She was always coming to work with tears.
Oh, my God.
At some point, they even brought all these prophets to their house. Say, hey, thank God I didn't even own the property. They saw vision to the owner of the property where our office was, that the man is diabolic and they shouldn't work there. Good news. That was a good news.
Oh, okay.
6 months later, she left. She got a 6-figure job.
Wow. From the
value.
I mean, the same people frustrated her when Jen Tibaje said, Eloni, transfer, bam, brand new Jen. So she now told them, this Steve Akintayo insulting. If you didn't teach me, I wouldn't
know how to do this.
And we need to start speaking to our parents.
We run out of time. Oh my goodness. It's just like starting the conversation. But I have to run.
Every time we bring him,
so it's never enough. We need a whole 2 hours. But what you said earlier, because we're going to start getting messages from 1 million people, that 10 people you want to counsel.
Yes,
so I think we'll split it. 2 of us each, 2 each, come through us. You know, we vet the people to be sure that they qualify to be mentored, you know, and then I think I'll give the last 2 to maybe Nima, because I know Nima also has a lot of people. Let's not bother Waike and all this drama, but Nima, so 2 of us, each of us, let's get 2 people to recommend.
Well, I'll give the criteria. Their business must be doing no less than 10 million, because, and I'll tell you, there's a reason why. There's a reason, hold on, there's a reason why. Those who don't have that, I will give them under my mentees.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yes, there's a reason why. The higher you go in business, the more you can give relatable advice. Yes.
So which is why at that 10 million level.
Yes. Which is why I have mentees who can mentor those at that level. Okay. Because they can relate. Because there are examples I will give you, they will be, I don't want to talk above their head. So if you have people who are below that, I have mentees.
Okay. Fantastic. Well done. Thank you very much. We appreciate this. Well, oh my goodness. It's never enough.
Please watch again. Everyone watch again.
But there's something I noticed that you do. Yes. You market in between every sentence. Give your book, You talk about this, you know, so
It's a
is this
skill you
something,
learn.
yes.
It's a skill,
Is it
that.
a skill? Because some people are like, I'm not a marketer. I have the, but I'm not a marketer.
Well, that's why they should go and read The Greatest Salesman That Ever Lived. Once you say you don't like sales, then you love poverty. You cannot be rich without selling. Everybody is selling.
Something.
Daddy Gio is selling Jesus and holiness. Everybody is selling
What are we
something.
selling?
Everybody.
We are selling. We are
Everybody,
selling.
this show.
Here.
This show.
Okay, this show.
value.
We are selling value. We are selling information.
No, I think you are not selling anything yet. And
I'm not
we
selling.
can't. There are merchandise.
sell.
We should begin to have your view merchandise.
Your view
we should
t-shirt.
begin to
Don't
have.
worry.
There are a lot of things we can.
We'll get
we
there.
can
Are you sure we're not the ones that are going to come under this mentorship?
That's all we can take on the show. Woo! See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mario.